Here are some of President Trump's most extravagant purchases. Number 11. The Trump Princess. Donald Trump supposedly isn't a boat kind of guy. In fact, he's not a beach kind of guy, so why on earth would he ever buy a boat? He's said himself he's not into boats, but oh well, only billionaires can spend roughly $30 million on something they don't really want, won't really use, but only because they like the idea of owning a boat. Trump surprisingly doesn't drink or smoke either. Trump has referred to his yacht as his ultimate toy. He actually saved $1 million off the price of the yacht because the previous owner didn't want to have someone else having the boat with his daughter's name on it. So Trump, being as savvy as he is, negotiated a discount to rename the boat as the Trump Princess. The Trump Princess is, of course, according to Trump, a work of art. And what makes it a work of art is the quality that can be appreciated with the ridiculously lavish interiors. From hand-carved onyx bathrooms to gold handles, the interior design is just straight old money baller. With room for over 50 people, a helicopter landing pad, and its own movie theater, the Trump Princess is the type of yacht even 100 millionaires dream of. Number 10. Allow himself to introduce himself. At a charity event in 2007, famed speed painter Michael Israel painted a portrait of Trump. Israel was able to do it in only 6 minutes. I mean, for someone's called a speed painter, that's something I can expect. After the painting was finished on stage, the portrait was auctioned. Surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, Trump's wife Melania won the auction. Her bid was $10,000, but later on she doubled it. The final price of the painting was $20,000. Half of the money went to the painter Israel and the other half to the charity that hosted the event. Unfortunately, it was later revealed that Donald Trump actually didn't pay for this piece of art with his own money, but rather with money from donations to the Donald J. Trump Foundation. The whereabouts of the portrait were unknown until 2016. A former assistant to Israel said that after the auction, Melania instructed him to ship the painting to Trump's golf club located in Westchester County in New York. I guess if I were a billionaire, I'd buy a portrait of myself as well, but I definitely wouldn't use charitable donations. Number 9. Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. It's no secret, Trump loves cars. He said several times since stepping into the White House how much he misses driving. And who wouldn't miss driving if they owned the supercars the Donald does? Trump's 2003 Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren cost a small fortune as it set him back about $455,000. Making a big show out of it because this is Trump we're talking about, he got it delivered in 2004 right in front of the Trump Tower so the press could cover it. It's been featured several times on articles about Trump's wealth, the most popular of which has to be the photo taken for a Vogue magazine spread back in 2006. In the photo, Trump was sitting in his SLR McLaren looking back to his wife Melania, who was pregnant at the time and nearly naked on the steps of the Trump's Boeing 757. Number 8. The T-Bird. If you're a dude who's a billionaire, chances are you're gonna be the type of person who's not wasting time flying commercial. It definitely makes sense for Trump to buy a private jet. However, buying a full 757 is still a bit over the top. However, Trump's Boeing 757 is an older model and it was used. So, at least Trump held back just a little bit. It was already pretty old when he bought it back in 2010. In the mid-90s, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen bought it and improved it as only billionaires can. He removed a lot of seats and instead built 2 bedrooms, a master suite, a guest room, a giant bathroom with a full-size bathtub inside, and a conference area. Hey, gotta get work done, right? But apparently Allen didn't have a need for it anymore, so Trump seized his chance at a decked-out 19-year-old 757. It was an undisclosed purchase, so no one can be sure of the actual price, but let's just assume it was expensive. He kept the general layout Allen had, but Trump obviously felt everything inside needed improvement. Because it's Trump we're talking about, that obviously meant out with the old, in with the gold. After the renovation, the 757, which Trump likes to call the T-Bird, is valued at $100 million. It has twin Rolls-Royce engines to make the plane go faster than 500 miles per hour. And, 24 karat gold everywhere, and I mean everywhere. From the seatbelt buckles and trim to the gold bathtub. Number 7. Not just any watch. The year was 1999, and former President Ronald Reagan's watch was being auctioned right next door to the Trump building in New York. Apparently, the auction was a huge sensation in the watch world. In this one-of-a-kind event for charity, the watches of famous people all over were being auctioned off. The event was actually named Famous Faces. The total amount of money this charity raised was roughly $544,000 for about 87 watches. Overall, the idea behind this event was kind of brilliant. I mean, get a lot of celebrities to donate their watches to sell for charity, and then have a bunch of other celebrities buy them. Among the watch's owners were George Clooney, Leo DiCaprio, Jerry Seinfeld, Elizabeth Taylor, Oprah Winfrey, Paul Newman, and, of course, Ronald Reagan, to mention just a few. Near the end of the auction, Reagan's watch came to light, and Trump immediately had his eyes on it. Whatever Trump felt about Reagan in 1999, it was enough for him to purchase a relatively low-value watch, as it was one of the least valuable watches at the event. Trump bought the watch for the final price of $7,000, which was clearly many times more than the value of the watch, which was a Calibri quartz watch. Hey, it definitely looked to be a passion purchase by Trump, not just because of the watch, but because of the previous owner. Number 6. Rolls-Royce Phantom Saloon. The Rolls-Royce Phantom Saloon was one of the latest cars Donald Trump bought before becoming president, and he even drove it regularly. Although Trump does have at least 2 private drivers who used to take him and his family around town before he became president, he actually enjoys driving on his own. This bad boy costs about $500,000, and since it's a bespoke car, Rolls-Royce offers them in thousands of different colors, but Trump chose this one in an elegant black. He used it frequently during his presidential campaign, but stopped shortly after he was elected. Actually, the funniest part with Trump and a Rolls-Royce was when Melania recorded him blasting Taylor Swift while driving the car. The video was posted on Melania's Facebook page back in 2014. To be honest, the video of Trump listening to Taylor Swift is one of the last videos I'd expect floating around on the internet. Number 5. Sikorsky S-76. Back in 2011, Trump decided that what his life was lacking was a helicopter, and it had to be as great as he himself was. You guys starting to catch the theme yet? At that point, he already had his Boeing 757, but I guess he needed a new aircraft to get him to some tighter spots. The new addition to the Trump fleet was a second-hand Sikorsky S-76. Some experts say a previously owned helicopter like Trump's is worth between $5 and $7 million. However, when Trump bought it, his Sikorsky wasn't in tune with his usual style, so Trump hired famous aircraft interior designer Eric Roth to put his touches on the helicopter. Roth had already worked with Trump before with the design of his Boeing, so he was already familiar with what the Donald might have in mind. The renovated interior now has pretty much the signature Trump 24-karat gold hardware from handles to seatbelts, including the Trump coat of arms in actual gold paint on the side. Although numbers aren't clear because of the confidentiality agreement Roth's faithfully kept, this makeover is believed to have cost over $750,000. Number 4. Mercedes Maybach S600 Pullman Guard. Guarded cars are nothing new, not really. For pretty much forever, the rich and famous have needed protection. The Mercedes Maybach S600 Pullman Guard is the combination of the S600 Guard, a fortress on wheels, and the Pullman, a regular limo. Many people will settle for either of the 2 versions, but there are some people that need both the protection and the extra wheelbase, and Donald Trump is one of those guys. For about $513,000, his S600 Pullman Guard offers tank protection to its passengers. It has steel reinforcement panels inside the body and extra protection panels in critical weak areas. It features ultra-thick laminated bulletproof glass windows and armored floors. It has its own ventilation system in case it falls into water, such as a river or a lake. But the real question is there gold everywhere in this car? Number 3. Best view of NYC. If you think you know what luxury means, you'll probably have to redefine it once you see how Trump used to live. Trump's penthouse in Trump Tower takes the word lavish to a whole nother level. Some people think it's overwhelming, some people dislike it entirely, and some people would kill to live in a place like this. But whichever camp someone is in, everyone has an opinion about it. Covering the top 3 floors of the Trump Tower, this unbelievable $100 million penthouse has breathtaking views of Central Park and all of Manhattan. It was designed with French King Louis XIV's style in mind. For those of you who are not too familiar with Louis XIV, let's just say he was referred to as the Sun King for obvious reasons. The Trump apartment is decorated with 24-karat gold and Carrara marble from the same canyon Michelangelo got his material. It also has gold replicas of many famous sculptures and works of art. It was such a sick place to live, First Lady Melania didn't want to move to the White House after Trump was elected. Number 2. Lamborghini Diablo. This special Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster is probably one of the most iconic cars Trump has owned. Although it's not in his garage anymore, as he sold it recently, Trump has said he misses it a ton. This Lambo was specifically made for the Donald back in 1997. The Diablo was bright blue with tinted windows, and it was the only blue Diablo Lamborghini made that year. When he sold it, it was actually held on auction at eBay. The Lamborghini Diablo ended with a final bid of $460,000. No one is really sure if Donald Trump actually sold it for that amount, as he claimed he expected more. Just to put it in perspective, a modern Lamborghini Aventador sells for only $600 more. Whether the buyer overpaid or not, at least he has the only Lambo out there with a personal Trump badge on the car. Number 1. The GOAT. So who would own a $15,000 book? Well, it's not just any book, but it's a tribute to Muhammad Ali. GOAT, in case you didn't know, is an acronym for Greatest of All Time. GOAT is a massive tribute to the one and only Muhammad Ali. Each copy of the book costs $15,000. For that price, you not only get the book, but an original sculpture by artist Jeff Koons, as well as 4 silver gelatin prints signed by Ali and photographer Howard L. Bingham. I know that most of us won't be buying a book that costs that kind of money, but I'd say it's more of an art piece than a book. The book itself contains over 3,000 photos of arguably the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time and some fragments of his thoughts. And Trump said he's enjoyed his $15,000 book when asked about Ali in an interview. Barack Obama also said that the book was his favorite memento of Ali. I knew that Trump and Obama had something in common. Here's what's next.
On both sides of the border. Cemex's share price jumped 2.6% in one day, and its stock is up 18% since news of the wall came out. They and their workers stand to make a lot of money on the wall construction since no American company is